418. We're back. We're back in the building, of course. Every 2 weeks. Yeah, I know y'all miss us. It's okay. It's alright. Just like Tony Khan says. It's okay. It's alright. ROC Solid World Heavyweight Champion Kenny Cornette, right here.
And even more so, I'm back.
Chico Libra. Bring that microphone over here. We don't want to hear your voice all that much. Put that one over there, too. There you go. We need to hear the champ's voice sometime.
You're going to hear it today.
Yeah. Bucky 4G, the ROC Solid Predictions Champion. Not Chico.
Or Cody.
Or Cody. Suck it, Cody. Yes. But
looks more like it's a bell with his name on it.
Oh, it is, because it's mine, of course. No, this is the new one. You
no predictions on it.
Oh,
no
yeah.
Nothing.
The other one didn't have predictions on it either, so at least it's personalized.
I'll upgrade that when I take it.
Speaking of that, yeah, all right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's see that.
All in 2 electric boogaloo.
It's probably going to have an eggplant on it somewhere. Something, just saying. But
could happen.
It could happen. It could happen, but 90% says that it won't. Everybody says Bucky 4G can't rise the case. Chico can't.
Hey,
what you got to say about that? No, it's out. So, anywho, we have a special guest, y'all. We're supposed to have 2 special guests, but he'll show up. He'll come. But Chico, Kenny, let's give a warm welcome to y'all. Y'all seen him before. If y'all went to we special guest spotted on the show somewhat recently, and we have a special guest back in return. So put your attention to the screen.
Oh, jeez.
Hello.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. My name is Mike Nowak, also known the man they call Sleazy. I'm one half of the second largest pro wrestling podcast, The Wrestling Show with Sleazy and The Fatman. For fuck's sakes, Colt Cabana retires so we can too. I'm also a pro wrestling manager and just in general lifetime lover of professional wrestling. You can find us at thewrestlingshow.com or on our link tree at linktr.ee/sleazyfatman.
That'll be in the comments, y'all. All right. So make sure you pick it up. Make sure you go to that link tree for sure. He's got attitude and batitude. So some gratitude. And when is gratitude? Only in America. I said that all wrong, but I don't care. What's up, Mike?
Right.
I planned that and I didn't execute it.
Just fucked it all up.
Fucked it up. Damn.
At least nothing came out of it injured. It's fine.
Yeah. Very true. That's all you can hope for. But we have a pretty hot topic going on the set today, and you know what? I'm gonna put my hair up for this one, cause tribalism. I'm not gonna play no drums or anything, cause that would be kind of racist. I don't know, but still. We need to talk about this because this is plaguing the internet wrestling community. The IWC is absolutely plaguing it.
I hate those letters.
And yeah, it makes you hate these. It makes you hate those letters for sure. And it's between AEW fans and WWE fans. We've made this correlation on the show before, where it's become almost like politics. If you look at like a politic. Like a bar or whatever, it's a bar slider thing. So far right is WWE, I like to think. Far left is AEW, just based on who's in charge, stuff like that. There are tons of people right here in each venue because WWE has fans that don't make they don't make a whole big fuss or anything like that. AEW has the same right here near the middle, both sides, but then you got the far right and the far left going at it completely. Sometimes I play into it a little bit. I like to think I'm between the neutral and the far left, that type of thing sometimes. But that's only because
he's far fucking left.
No, I'm not. Bucky 4G plays nice. He plays nice. Sometimes.
Didn't you guys go minor viral on TikTok because of some shit you said about AEW?
No, yeah. Well, no, I think it was a couple times, but our most recent viral thing was Daniel Garcia's dance. Set to some music, and I see you shaking your head there. What are your thoughts on the Daniel Garcia dance? I know you're kind of about it, but what do you think?
I love Daniel Garcia. Obviously he's a Buffalo boy, so I will always put him over. I've always loved his style in general.
Yep.
He's found something new that has made him popular.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, popular makes you money. Money makes you happy.
Indeed.
So,
I like to see all the Buffalo boys doing well, stuff like that. We just saw recently Puff got a cameo on AEW. Blackwood is doing his thing. Bennett's doing his thing. Pepper Parks, obviously, Blade in AEW. So it's quite nice. Allie, very nice, good stuff. But getting back to this here, I've spent pretty much the whole weekend on Twitter arguing with people. I swear to God I have, and I'm going to show you guys the tweet right now. Don't worry, you'll be back in a second. So the tweet is this: I hate the fact that no matter how good and amazing AEW is or gets, that it won't be able to grow its audience thanks to tribalism. It absolutely exists, and the other side's fans will not watch simply out of spite. Yes, this is a real thing. AEW deserves all the flowers. This is what prompted people to get on the case and stuff like that. I'm gonna go through a whole lot of these throughout the show. So, because there's a lot of some agree, some disagreed. I mean, it got 24 retweets. That's not big numbers. It's big numbers to us. We're newish on Twitter or whatever. So organic followers, stuff like that.
No bots.
Yeah, no bots. No
hashtag no bots.
No bots. No robots.
No AW bots.
AEW bots. It's okay.
Okay, I do want to say something before we actually get into the AEW WWE thing.
Go for it.
Is that tribalism has been here forever. Literally the 90s, the 2000s. If you grew up in the 90s, you were either a WWF homer or you were NWO for life.
Yep.
Or you were fucking an ECW mark like I was.
Yep.
If you grew up in the 2000s-ish, you were either WWF to WWE after the Attitude Era into the Ruthless Aggression Era, or you're a TNA fan. Or some lesser cases, Ring of Honor.
Right.
But Ring of Honor was a big deal. And then when really WWE became this juggernaut, then there was the difference between WWE and New Japan-ish, but mainly the indies.
Right, the indies. That's what. Yep.
Yeah, it was completely. You indie fucking marks versus you WWE fed idiots.
Yes.
And now we've got AEW, which is kind of the hallmark of the indie fed, technically. I mean, it is, but it isn't. There's a whole other. That's a whole other separate debate in of itself.
I call it mainstream.
Yeah, well, especially now with Collision, everybody's like, "Oh, Dynamite's that indie shit," and then Collision is more sports entertainment now and stuff like that. Like there's structure and stuff. I've seen that argument, and I don't know how much I agree with that.
It's a weird argument to say the least. But the thing is, the reality of it all is that we're always going to be the entire wrestling business is all about picking your favorites and cheering your favorites on. Exactly. Whether it's promotion, whether it's wrestlers, whether it's tag team, whether it's managers.
Yep. Paul
Heyman, I love you. But the reality is that's all there is to be. There is no stakes in this, and that's what makes it so vicious.
Right. And every time somebody sees online, everybody just goes into attack mode for some reason.
They have to defend.
Yeah, literally all over this tweet. I'm telling you, it is a doozy because every time. So that wasn't okay. So when I read that tweet out, did that seem like it was like territorial or anything like that to you guys? Did it seem like that?
No.
So
No,
they took it like that though.
no, it's just like AEW is doing good things. You know.
Yes.
Just admit it. Like I'll admit like WWE is not always the most watchable. I find it somewhat watchable now as far as the PLEs go. But like if they do something good, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's WWE, so it doesn't matter. Like I'll just admit like that was a good thing they did.
Yeah. Like, oh, that was pretty good and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So I do that with LA Knight all the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge Eli Drake fan. So even before WWE. So.
But like with AEW, like they just can't admit it. Like I think they feel like they would like lose the argument.
Yeah, exactly. Or not only lose the argument, but like I swear it's like I don't want to call it this. I don't want to call it that. So I probably won't. Y'all probably understand what I was going to say, but it's almost like it's like the Stonecutters or something like that. That's what it seems like to me. It's just like if you say something, if you're on the WWE side, right, and you're saying something good about AEW, oh, I like this or whatever, you will get taken through like the gauntlet, the desert of the swollen ass or some shit.
That big ass rock up here.
Right, that's the stone of non-triumph or whatever. Like, dude, like seriously, like that's what it seems like over there. And I say over there because it's no secret whatsoever. I am an AEW head, and I am an AEW head because let me tell you. Okay, so I've told you guys. I don't know if you've ever heard it. So it is. So I'm telling this for Sleazy, of course. So I was always the one, and I look at my old like Facebook posts and stuff like that, and like cheering on WWE, all that stuff. And I cringe now. But I go and look back and see how much I did support it. I did support it. And I made sure that people knew it. People knew me for that, and people still share WWE stuff to me to this day.
Comes up in my memory
because they know it was me.
He was that abused girlfriend.
Yeah, literally. And it's just like I had a saying. This is back when
It'll get better.
ROC Solid Talk was just me, you, and Mel. You gotta take the bad to get to the good. Remember that, Chico?
Let it play out.
Y'all were lambasting it, and I was like, no, y'all gotta take the bad to get to the good. I was the most stark WWE fan you possibly could. So you possibly could have. So I'm remembering instances as in like, oh, Dolph Ziggler's run in the Survivor Series 2014 match, stuff like that. How good that was. Sting's debut, all that stuff, how good that was, but all the shit we got before it. And I remember in the chat, I was like, see what I tell you guys, this is good. We finally got something good. Blah blah blah.
And they shit all over it.
Exactly. I bring back the authority. What? Are you kidding me? Like, stop. But then it just kept going and going. To NXT Black and Gold came up. And I was already an indie head, you know. That's why.
Which was a better brand at that point than the main roster.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And then that's where I met, Cody and Sleazy. Well, I met Cody at summer camp, so like, but still, through Cody, I met literally everybody else. Sleazy, the Vikings, everybody, Tammy, all of them. So that's where I started going because WWE was letting me down. And I'm a WWE fan. I was a WWE fan. Obviously, came up and things like that. My cup of tea is the Ruthless Aggression era. Blah blah blah. Because of my age. Blah blah blah. Of course. Then I started, branching out and seeing these people and stuff like that. The Bucks, Omega, Styles, and Impact, and going to New Japan, all that stuff. Nakamura. That took me to New Japan. That took me to, again, the everybody that populated the indies in that time, 2014, 2015, and onward. Then we got to, and so I was just a straight up indie head. And NXT was the closest they get to an indie thing.
Super
with the wrestling
he
and
came
everything.
from Tribalism himself.
Yeah.
Carter used to be like, we don't believe in signing
Yep.
indie talent.
Yep.
We're going to go with the former NFL stars and basketball stars, so on and so forth, until those names started coming like Finn Balor and Neville and the Bucks and all of that. Then he started signing those people just like strictly to NXT, and they got big, and his father-in-law didn't like that.
Exactly, didn't like it.
Because they were being compared to a super indie,
Yep.
and he hated that name.
Exactly, and what...
Well, do you remember the beginning of NXT? Well, not the beginning of NXT, but
It was a game show.
Yep.
It was a game show to make people look stupid in order to get a contract.
The beginning of the Triple H era of NXT, where he was bringing in guys like Gargano and Ciampa, but bringing them in as their contracts were worded in such a way that they could still do indies, but also appear on NXT.
Right.
And that's kind of what AEW is doing now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, in a respect, he had the mindset of what's going on now. It's just that it's a $1 billion company held by a lot of very high-powered executives that want to keep an idea or a stranglehold on IP and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
and it sucks because the wrestling business to me should be an open thing. To me, that's what I feel like. People should be able to occupy wherever they want and things like that without repercussions. And I think of repercussions simply because of WWE. That's how we were programmed to believe. Because if you were thinking about the other company, if you were thinking about somewhere else and things like that, the fan base would turn on you. The backstage would turn on you. Crap like that. That's how it was at the beginning of AEW for sure. Well, now for some reason, they're not worried now and things like that. But I'm gonna finish my story really quick. What took me out of WWE was the Bray Wyatt Seth Rollins Hell in a Cell.
Yeah,
I vowed
that
that was my last straw. You remember what happened, right?
Yeah.
I hate saying it, but I shed tears that night. I did. It was that bad. I was just like, this is crap. This is crap. I can't do WWE anymore. That's when I realized it, and that's why I think I shed tears, because I realized WWE is not for me anymore.
They went against their own rules for that match 3 years in a row.
They stopped it.
Hell in a Cell is supposed to be anything goes.
Exactly.
At the end of a feud. Now you got disqualifications and countouts and
exactly.
He can't go on anymore. We got to stop. Stoppage.
What? Stoppage in Hell in a Cell.
You even had Sean
stop this.
Yeah,
are you kidding me?
This is supposed to be Hell in a Cell. It's supposed to just keep going.
They had audible AEW chants that night. I'm pretty sure that is the moment also when they started. Well, not only the pandemic, but that's when they started realizing we need to pipe in stuff for the audience, because this can't happen. That's what I feel like, because it was loud. People were
protecting
pissed.
their product.
Yeah, people were pissed. Absolutely. And so was I. And that made me lit. Now, I was watching New Japan and things like that back in when the Bullet Club first got started and things like that. So Finn Balor, Carl Anderson, and Bad Luck Fale starting the Bullet Club. Then the Bucks came in, stuff like that. I was watching since then, right at the start of that. Started, latching onto Okada and Chaos and stuff like that. It brought me in, and it was just so much fun to watch coherent storyline at that point. So then, of course, I watched all the way through Bullet Club, the Civil War, when Cody came in, stuff like that. I still remember Cody's debut promo in the big chair, smoking the cigar, stuff like that. And then Omega and the Bucks and Hangman, they left. After Kenny's last match was against Tanahashi. He dropped the belt to Tanahashi. So that's when they went and started AEW. So I was a fan from the onset, because not only New Japan with these guys, but 2CW and all the other indies and stuff like that. So Excite, things of that nature. Everywhere that they've gone, I tried to follow them because they were my new favorites. And that's how I got onto AEW. There was no possible way that I was not going to be an AEW fan. There was no possible way. Especially being disenchanted from WWE. This is why I'm telling the story. Because I think the tribalism part of it comes in, at least on the AEW side. I always said from the start, AEW's fans are the disenchanted WWE fans. They are. Because I know I was. Specifically, I had two reasons to watch AEW. One, because I was following these guys prior, saw what they were about to start doing, and was all in on it. No pun. Yes, pun intended. Fuck it. What?
That was perfect.
But anyway, I mean, like, and then the other reason was that I was scorned. I was, and you guys make that analogy all the time. You know. A scorned ex or whatever, jilted ex-lover. That's literally it. And it's just like, at one point, I was that mad at WWE that I wanted to see it go under. I was
okay. Here's the and I appreciate that viewpoint. I do.
Yeah.
I believe that, to continue with the jilted ex-lover bit here, eventually you get to the point where you can separate the bad and the good again. Like, all you can focus on is the terribleness of the product. Right. And there is a lot bad going on in WWE. But I will also say there's a significant amount of bad going on in AEW as well.
Okay.
The problem ends up being is that you're in the honeymoon phase of the other side of that. Yeah. You can only see the AEW greatness. And once again, there's a lot great going on in AEW. There's also a lot great going on in WWE as well. Guys like Seth Rollins, Cody, and all this stuff that's going on in the top card. Obviously, Eli Drake is a huge, big name, obviously.
On that shit again.
Fatman will jump up and down and tell you every fucking day that he can that he got to be in a produced segment with Eli Drake back in Excite. So he will always tell you that on pay-per-view, no less. I work for the fucking company, but he's the one on pay-per-view. Fuck him.
See, Fat Man, you're still getting under his skin, even though you're not.
Yeah, no, fuck him. Fucking Jimmy Jacobs coming up to me. Yeah, fucking WWE man's the fucking worst fucking thing I've ever worked for, and Impact's giving me. Yeah, fuck.
He's jilted. He's jilted.
He's jilted too.
Exactly.
But he went back to Impact.
Yep.
Okay, so I will say this. No, two quick things. Number one, the best, in my not my opinion necessarily, but definitely most of the show's opinion of the wrestling show, the best wrestling on TV right now currently is not in AEW. It's not in WWE. It's not in Ring of Honor. It's an Impact.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, and kind of agree with that because I am a fan, a big fan of Impact's wrestling. Mm-hmm. But again, here I am, Mr. AEW. I can't bring my, and this is part of the point with the tribalism and stuff. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I can't tell myself. I love AEW so much. I can't tell myself when something's bad. I can criticize and things like that. We pride ourselves on that.
Fuck, I can.
But,
all the time.
Yeah, now he definitely can because we had to convince him to watch AEW right at the start of this. At the start of this podcast, we had to convince him
because I know none of his people.
Yeah, right. Oh, he didn't know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, who the fuck is Bandito? You know.
No, I said who the fuck is the Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks?
Yeah, he didn't know them.
All of them.
He didn't know them.
Who the fuck is this asshole spouting off shit about fucking One Wing Angels and Sephiroth?
Yeah.
Fuck that dude.
That was me.
Yeah. Of course, yeah, it still is him, but you know they're starting to win. Win him over a little.
I respect him. I just don't like him.
Yeah, dude, king of sports.
Yeah. Okay, so to be fair.
So yeah, again, you're probably in the same boat that I am. You know, we were the indie heads. We were always there. We were all that stuff, and then yo, you're wearing the New Japan shirt, so I know you took a similar trajectory to me or whatever. So, but you didn't allow yourself to get jilted by WWE. That's the main difference between us, I believe.
Forgive me for asking this. What's about the age of you guys when you came into professional wrestling?
Chico, start.
Oh, I've been watching since I was about like 4 or 5 years old.
And when was that? Like, what was your era?
Like, you know, in the like late 80s to all the way through to the 90s. Like I've been through the thick and the thin.
Okay, so you had to deal with weeklies of WCW going waka waka hey, you know, all fucking day, all week long, where nobody could have a fucking clean finish.
Right.
Nope, because it was always NWO attacks.
And
yeah, every single thing.
Cornette, what about you? What was your year?
3. It's about 87, 88.
Wow. Okay. So
WrestleMania 3.
That's before I was born. Me specifically, I was it was 99. I was 10. That's when I first started watching it ish, but my grandmother wouldn't allow me to watch it.
Now see, that's a different thing.
And then
my grandmother got us like the entire household into wrestling. Like, she was at church.
Yeah.
But so did she get home from church? If the pay-per-view was on, all right, everybody get dressed, pizza, wings, soda. Everybody's in the living room in front of the TV, blankets or whatever. Watch
the thing that got me the biggest into it is when I consider myself an official wrestling fan. There he is. There's Shannon.
Oh, official?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Come on in, Shannon. Come on in.
Officially,
we got our other Titanic Shannon in the house in the building.
During the Attitude Era, when it started. The Attitude
era. So yeah,
the end of the new era into Attitude.
Right, and so
new generation into Attitude.
So what we're doing, Shannon, is we're telling when we first started getting into wrestling, like what year, things like that. So mine was 99 when I first started noticing it, and then the thing that got me as an official fan in my eyes was I purchased SummerSlam 2002 and watched Shawn Michaels win the World Heavyweight title.
Wow, that's
what got me into wrestling. Like
he didn't win the heavyweight title at SummerSlam.
That was a non-sanctioned match.
That was Survivor Series.
No, Survivor
Series. He won the title.
Did I say SummerSlam?
You said SummerSlam.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, that's what I meant though. That's what I meant though, because SummerSlam 02 was his return.
Yeah. Same year.
And then SummerSlam 03 was the second Elimination Chamber. Yeah. So I just got jumbled up. But Survivor Series 2002 is the first Elimination Chamber match. That's when I officially was like, oh, I love this. I absolutely love this.
Of course, it's when Michael has in the shit Tyson looks like.
and then later on, Triple H with the biker shorts, of course.
Oh, he had a groin pull.
Yeah, absolutely.
He had a badass groin pull at that point. When my first pay-per-view, I was 7 years old. I used to watch the quote-unquote weeklies at that time. It was WWE Superstars at Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But my very first pay-per-view, as a birthday gift for my 7th birthday, was the 92 Rumble.
Wow.
Oh, Ric Flair winning the world title.
Yes.
I think that's the best Rumble of all time.
It is.
It really is. With a tear in my eye. No,
that's that promo. Okay, yeah.
The fucking promo after is just phenomenal. But the reality is that I grew up watching WWF until the Attitude Era, where it got too risque, and I was like 12, 13 years old, and my parents were like, you can't watch that shit anymore.
My grandma and let me watch it.
So I watched DCW instead.
How many people?
Oh, that's much better.
How many people got in trouble and going to the principal's office for saying
sucking? Yeah.
Ninth grade, that's Aubrey black basketball team just sucked. Like you can't be doing this against other teams. Like,
you're right. You're crazy. Fingers, just bring it.
Oh man.
So that's another bit. So Fatman and I, when we became friends, we were friends in middle school, right around when the Attitude Era was happening. I was watching WCW. I was watching WWF secretly. I was watching ECW at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
But the reality was that we were like wrestling fans. So we did stuff like, have groups of people enjoying wrestling. We were Stone Cold fans. I still am to this day. We had there are other friend groups that liked wrestling, but they liked Generation X.
Right.
And one day, we got pulled into the principal's office, and it was just a couple of friends of us, and they sat us down and said, "Why are you trying to start a gang?" What? Yeah,
I can see that.
We were starting gang warfare in Bodunk fucking Phelps, New York, because we were, enjoying talking about wrestling. These motherfucking nerds.
Yeah, don't pretend your name isn't Pony Boy. Right. Come on. You know.
We're 13 years old and we love wrestling. Go fuck yourselves. Yeah. My parents actually laughed them out of the fucking office because we all got sent home that day.
No.
So,
can't wear these shirts here.
Can't pull out Uncle Phil weed?
Right.
Right? No, we don't smoke weed here. We just watch wrestling and we get thrown out. That's the Finger Lakes area of upstate New York.
Me as a parent, I would have been like, "Come on, y'all, let's go watch wrestling."
Right.
You guys told him to take my hair.
Right. You should watch some too.
Yeah. Right.
That's all right.
So my father and I always watched wrestling when we were growing up and stuff. My father tragically passed away to cancer in 2000. We never got to see a live show together because, frankly speaking, we're not very well off.
Yeah.
My first show was in Rochester. It was a SmackDown.
Yeah. Rochester.
For Halloween. And our first pay-per-view that Fat Man and I went together was the Great American Bash 2005. So we had this weird, strange history of professional wrestling over the years because we went to some of the weirdest shows. If you remember Great American Bash 2005, it was the pay-per-view where Muhammad Hassan got killed.
Yeah.
Literally.
And wrote him off.
One of my favorite trios matches of all time, the BWO versus the Mexicools, because that wasn't racist at all. But just having this different philosophy of professional wrestling over the years has changed my life so many times. But it also meant that I got to experience so many different promotions as well.
Right.
I'm not just a WWE fan, not just an Impact fan, not just a Ring of Honor fan. I went to all those shows, but I'm also a Chikara fan.
Yeah.
I'm also a CW fan.
Yep.
I know Josh.
Yeah.
I am obviously an Excite Wrestling fan because I worked for Excite for 8 years. I've gone to indie shows all over the United States. There's so many different things that professional wrestling does for us. Yep. And to say that we're diehards, we're here for one promotion is so short-sighted. It's crazy to me.
Yep.
Open up your mind. I know that there's this sense of tribalism and stuff like that, but the reality is there's wrestling that's great everywhere. There's also shit wrestling.
Yeah.
Shit everywhere too.
And that's exactly why I tweeted what I tweeted. Because I really think, because of how good of a show AEW had the previous week, I was like, man, how can anybody else not be watching this? Like, it was pride. It was full of pride. Like, I love what AEW's doing. It's just like, I wish more eyes would see this because it breaks my heart seeing good ass quality shows, all-timer shows, and then they still only get the 800K, the 900K, stuff like that. I'm like, dude, more eyes need to be on this. If they gave it a chance, they would love it. And that was more my argument than anything on Twitter. And then everybody just started attacking. Everybody started this. Everybody started that. And again, it's hard for me as an AEW diehard fan to not look at these comments and see that it's WWE heads like bashing the product or anything like that. And I was trying to play Peacemaker at some point. Well, not actual Peacemakers, is you know how he is, but just the fact that everybody that attacked was just saying something just misguided and just completely taken off balance about it. No facts whatsoever to back it up. It's literally just all pure emotion that they're doing that with. And so that's why So, and I did some research. Somebody actually did talk to me, and this is what I feel like. AEW's side hates the fact that the WWE side blindly bashes AEW. Okay, no facts, like you said, no facts, no watching it. They don't watch it, but still have something derogatory to say about it. The other side, WWE, because somebody was willing to talk to me about it. He said the reason why most of us on this side, you know, when AEW first started, they wanted to check it out. Oh, this is cool, and that's why we got like the 1.1 mil, all that stuff consistently. Oh, we wanted to check this out, things like that. But then the diehard AEW fans was like, oh, if you don't know this guy, you suck. If you don't know who this is or where he came from, stuff like that, oh, you shouldn't be a wrestling fan. He said specifically that's why he stopped watching.
That's indie mark mentality.
Because of that. Because they made them feel like an ass. Or whatever. And so and then the Wednesday night wars really just compounded everything. Well, and that's where I think tribalism came from.
I was guilty of that too. I'm not even going front when the AEW first started.
What was that?
Because we got the motto was, we're going to be the alternative to WWE with the sports-based presentation, this, that, and the third. And the shit comes on, and I see all this indie shit that I don't understand, going like, what the fuck am I watching?
And that's why I'm
going back to what I normally watch. I'll stick to NXT.
Right.
If I don't watch the main roster shit, I'll stick to NXT.
Yep.
I'm not watching this shit.
Because you were used to it.
What the fuck are you guys watching?
In turn, that's why I loved it.
So I was just like, fuck that.
Yep, that's exactly why I loved it, is because I knew.
And that's why tribalism kicked in.
Right.
And that's the weird thing about it, is because like I said before, people have been saying, yo, alternative, and you turn it on and you see something like, you don't understand, like, you're not used to seeing what this is.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden it's like, well, I can't watch this because it's not like WWE, but
right.
Where's the clamor? You clamoring for alternative, but this is so different from what you see in WWE, yet you can't get into it. So you really don't want an alternative.
And that's where it literally was still an alternative regardless, but we wanted to see it be just like
exactly. And that's why people like Collision right now. And is what I'm saying is because CM Punk is pretty much leading that charge, and he is modeling that to what people know. And again, I think that's directed at trying to bring in the casual fan, because we all grew up, because our time, our ages, stuff like that, we all grew up knowing WWE because that was the only thing. And then again, it was the only thing in town later in our lives as well. We are literally fine-tuned, even if we don't want to admit it or anything like that, we are fine-tuned to the WWE style, whether we know it or not. Yep. The promo starting off the broadcast to set up the main event for the later in the night. All that stuff. Just all that little itty-bitty minuscule things that we thought, we know when a turn is coming. We know when a swerve is coming. We can predict what's going to happen, stuff like that.
Not over there you can't.
Over where?
In AEW you can't.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But that's part of the fun of it.
I love predicting.
Yeah, he does it all the time.
And make it
it'd be crazy. And that's another thing.
How the fuck... Because I watched this shit. You can see it coming.
Yeah.
Like, just sit and give it 5 minutes.
WWE can predict.
And I can tell you verbatim what they're about to say and what they're about to do.
His wife's always like, how do you know that?
She just throw her hands up like, damn.
That's it.
And that's where everybody get out of control with this. You see somebody lose a match in AEW, he's buried. Because y'all are so used to seeing that guy losing WWE, that means Vince has lost faith in him.
Exactly.
It's time for him to cool down.
Yep.
It's not like that in AEW. That's why that word "bury" gets thrown around.
And again, that's that innate attitude that we have because of WWE. Yeah. Yep. That's that innate thing.
EPTSD, I call it.
But it's not just us old school heads too. It's some of these new school ones.
Oh God.
Tribalism too, because hey, the business has changed. This is where it is now. But you got people like Punk and FTR like, no, our old school shit can still work even with these modern fans, and they're proving that.
And that's turned into a gimmick now. Like with CM Punk and FTR, it's turned into a gimmick about them being old school and things like that, and that's why it's working. That's why that class is working.
I'm just saying, like, that stuff, they still get people like me. They get it too. I still watch, the other stuff with the Bucks and all that. That's very entertaining. But for them to say that this old stuff doesn't work anymore in this new shit, that's bullshit to me.
And it's room for all of it.
I feel there is room for all of it. Exactly. it's room for all of it.
It's that far left, far right.
Yes,
shit.
exactly. And then you got your personalities and stuff like that helm up that or whatever. The Cornette fans. So, and then the
You wore that to entice me.
I said that.
I'm playing devil's advocate for a minute because they had a pretty heated discussion in the ROC Solid chat. Yes, there's an official ROC Solid chat, but y'all can't know about that. That's fine. But in which case, it kind of went off. It was nice and stuff like that. And as you see, that's what I like to see.
But it's not personal.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And exactly that's what I was getting into, is the fact that as heated as the discussion got, it's still respectable. It's still, people aren't getting mad about it.
Always good to disagree and debate.
Yeah.
But what gets me on Twitter, you start to, you damn nerd. You
Exactly.
like, why we gotta go to name call? Let's have
That's
a good
what I say all the
discussion.
time.
Let's disagree.
Yeah.
Let's have a good discussion.
Yep.
We ain't gotta do all of you.
That's it. That's exactly what happened on Twitter.
They're behind a keyboard.
Yep,
The
keyboard.
in your face like that. None of that shit.
And the name
Keyboard
calling
warrior.
comes from Cornette.
Yep. Telephone tough guy.
Because he got everybody on the internet feeling that they can say what they want.
Yep. Exactly.
It's
all.
not just him.
But yeah, it's not. It's not just him.
No. It's not just him.
It's not just Cornette. It's not just Booker T. It's not just Bischoff. It's not not any old one.
Bully Ray.
They're just the most.
Yeah, exactly.
Booker
heads.
T and Bully don't really get into the insult aspect.
They're in the middle of that spectrum that are created.
They just live on the. They live on the I'm right and you're wrong spectrum versus the name. Like Eric Bischoff insults people.
Yeah.
Cornette insults people. That's where my mind takes me at, because all these I know what's going on.
And then it riles people up.
Yeah, I know what's going on.
And that's the entertaining part about what he does.
But see, and they derive entertainment
It's got
from
so
it.
many views. They all have so many views because of hot takes like that.
Exactly.
But they're I guarantee you, and fuck Jim Cornette, by the way, but
oh no!
You fucking piece of shit! You fucking shit! You fucking story and fucking shit there, damn it! Yeah, fuck
I'm
him.
gonna have to put Boris the Animal up here in a minute.
Well, to be fair, I'm also a Russo guy, but he's also a piece of shit.
Get the fuck off my television.
Wow, bro.
Yeah, see, the problem with this Russo is he had no filter. When he had a filter, he was good. When he didn't have a filter, he ran a fucking company into the ground.
He has no filter now because that's what gets people to respond to his shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's a whole other thing. I'm talking about his gimmicks and storylines and shit like that when he was writing and when he was producing. But the reality is that professional wrestling as a whole gets so many weird fucking people in it. People who have huge fucking egos. People that are sitting there like FTR. FTR is a great example of a tag team that was successful anywhere they went.
Yeah.
They're not an AEW team in the sense of they were a homegrown talent in AEW. No. They were killing it in NXT. They were killing it on the indies, and now they're killing it where they are now. But if you look at if you look at it from the tribalism once again of AEW, it's like it's AEW's greatest favorite tag team, FTR. Don't forget, FTR, the term FTR was fuck the revival.
Yeah, literally.
The entire gimmick of
and spawned by Cody Rhodes on being elite. So, like, I don't get it. Like, it's so weird. Like,
says the person who went back.
Yeah, true. Yep. And at the
end of the day, it's about money.
Yep. It's all about the money.
You can sit here and jump up and down and go, well, I don't have creative control. I don't have creative freedom to do this. And AEW affords me this situation or that. It's always about money, and it's always about health. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the guys that left WWE to go to AEW were making almost as much money as they were in WWE, or sometimes a little bit more because... Let's be honest, Tony Khan is a money mark.
Like that,
I'm gonna say again, in his case, if we're gonna go there with him, in his case, he could have made this company a whole lot more money and himself if he didn't take himself out of a lot of shit.
Yeah, he's not
Cody.
He wanted to be such a baby face. I don't want to win the main title because it's going to make me look bad that I'm an executive with the world title.
Yep.
I'm going to get cussed out for that.
And that was his fault.
So I'm going to forever take myself out of the world title. You fucked yourself.
He cared too much about what he thought the fans were going to think, and we wouldn't have thought that at all.
We wouldn't have cared.
Like we said,
Cody screwed Cody.
Yeah, he did. And he had no sympathy for that.
CM Punk comes back to these boos and all of that.
Yeah.
Totally embracing it. Oh, y'all want to boo me? I'm going to play with y'all.
Exactly.
They want to boo Cody. Boo Cody. He want to be against it and try to talk his way around it. Nah, just take your character on the roll.
Saturday. He just did that Saturday. Yeah.
Lean into it. You play into the crowd.
And that's what I said from jump. Because, again, I've explained this at the beginning of the show, how much of a New Japan fan I was. Bullet Club Civil War. Evil Cody was the best Cody. Yeah. That's all we wanted in AEW. We were starting to antagonize him like, you suck, blah, blah, blah. He couldn't take it. He did that crap. Oh, I can't take it. Oh my God. Like, stop. No. That's all we wanted. You could have gave us what we wanted, but no, you wanted to be, white meat babyface John Cena. That doesn't work.
It don't exist.
Every time he did the shoulder shrug, he was thinking WWE.
Right. That's it. Yeah. He had the conscience on his. Yeah.
Like, I don't know who to answer to.
Right. And you can't be a white meat babyface if you're not organically a white meat babyface. Darby Allin can never be healed. Is what I'm saying. So he's organically a white meat babyface. Danielson, we thought the same thing, but he's masterful with it.
Anyone who watched Ring of Honor's his first run in Ring of Honor will tell you that was not true. Without question, Danielson. Danielson is a shit heel, fucking beautiful. Right. Mr. Small Package? Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh yeah, he's. I watched that, and so. Because I admittedly, I wasn't into Ring of Honor stuff. Like, I didn't even know it existed at that point, like when I started becoming a wrestling fan, things like that. So those early days, I had to go back and catalog watch, as Mel would say. So I had to go back and see that stuff, and it was just like, this is good shit. And this is why also people were clamoring so hard for Roman Reigns to be a heel. And that's why they hated so much how he was a face, and they kept trying to push him as a face and was not listening to their fans. They wanted him to go heel. I saw Roman's little heel act. It wasn't even that big. Little heel act in NXT, and loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was like, who is this guy?
Time is money.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who is this guy? Do this. Do that there.
And as soon as they switched it, look at it now. Like,
having the best run in his entire life.
But
we're gonna talk about that on the next show.
Yeah,
because I have a topic on.
Yep, absolutely.
We're today, but we're definitely gonna talk about
don't miss that next show, because that's 419, and that's gonna be
I need to know basically where he's gonna go from here.
Yeah, because it's weird, because you can't predict it. It's not a good thing. It's
not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I was gonna go there, but
by the time he's done with this gimmick, he's gonna have to stop.
But now they're about to switch it over away from the Bloodline to the Judgment Day, and do the same exact shit.
That's what they're doing. Now let me. I was thinking about something. I want y'all opinion on this.
Go for it.
I got this from Kevin Nash killing LA Knight, saying he's the
Yep.
Do y'all feel that these wrestlers, our wrestlers that we love, grew up on? Do you think that they're starting to fear, like, being wiped away from history?
Yes.
Because he talks about it every
it's crazy because
this shit to stay relevant.
Right.
Yeah, because what we grew up on was definitely more character than wrestling. Because it always, when Ambrose said this, well, Moxley, when he was like, the Attitude Era was great, but where was the wrestling? When he said that,
thank you.
When he said that, I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, it blew my mind to hear him say that. But then when I go back and actually look at it,
there was no wrestling. Sucked.
And now these wrestlers have evolved wrestling so much that you can't say that this wrestler you can't say this great wrestler from '94 was better than a wrestler that a shit indie wrestler now.
It was all personality. It was all gimmick.
Yeah.
And so now there's good gimmicks and good wrestlers now, and so that is now the standard of what a good wrestler is. That's what I feel like. That's just me. again, but that could also be a product of my time when I came in, things like that. I didn't grow so attached to these people and things like that, and so I can go and see what the new breed of wrestler is and appreciate it and be like, no, he's not better than him. He's not better than that. Things like that. Stone Cold, I love Stone Cold.
You watch Stone Cold and Rock in the ring.
Exactly.
And watch a wrestling match right now. Let's take a Daniel Garcia versus Brian. I'm naming, of course, Brian Danielson don't really count because he's extraordinary.
Garcia versus Shibata from this weekend.
You take them two and look at the ring work versus the Rock and Stone Cold ring work, and it's like
different styles.
Levels above. But Stone Cold and the Rock are iconic figures. So I think that just plays a part in these wrestlers' minds now.
And I'm gonna do you one better. So Garcia and Shibata from Nightingale and Athena from this past weekend was top notch, spectacular, wrestling wise and everything, history wise, what have you. Good. I'd put that up against WrestleMania 19 Rock Stone Cold. It was all Flash. It's Rock and Stone Cold, of course. The whole match was a finisher match. Just like Cena and Rock was at WrestleMania 28 and 29.
And Austin had too many Red Bulls that night, so he crashed.
One more round.
I mean, take a look at every single fucking Lesnar match of like the late 2018.
It's Suplex City.
That's it.
I mean,
Suplex City,
it's fine.
F5, Kimura.
Before I forget, I bringing up Kevin Nash. You want to talk about one of the best bookers of all time? Kevin fucking Nash.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think you're probably due.
I think as a general rule, your thought process is correct with all the old timers trying to, get themselves over like Booker T. I think Kevin Nash is the exception to that. Because even Kevin Nash will tell you what his favorite moment of professional wrestling is when it comes to him. Do you know what it is? Does anybody know what it is?
Favorite Nations Clause?
I have no idea.
When he signed his WCW contract.
Because he changed it. I say this all the time. Because he changed the business.
No.
Scott changed the business doing that.
It has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
It was all about the number of zeros on the check.
Yeah,
He will tell you that every day till the day he fucking dies. Is that at the end of the day, this is a business. And when business is good, he makes money. And when business is good now, he's making money by saying shit things to get himself over.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's everybody now that. That's everybody now that has a podcast.
Fuck those guys. Every single fucking one of them.
Yeah, they suck.
Even back when Ric Flair got him to catch up about his chops, like why? Like what is that? Like I don't understand that because obviously everybody, how y'all think these wrestlers feel? They looked up to y'all, yo. Like,
everybody woos to this day because
exactly. And that goes hand in hand with the Bucks doing because they were doing the sucking of the Indies. Suck it. Suck it. I loved that shit. It was too fun.
They tell you that they love these guys, and that's why they emulate them. That's why they copy them. And they
the
take
two
that.
Sweets.
The Bullet Club.
All that. And they take
because
that, you can't do like us, you little shits. Like that. Like nah.
And then they get mad about it. Everything in wrestling evolves from something else. Like Sleazy just said. I think it was before. I don't know if he said it on air, but before that, where who stole all of Billy Graham's shit? Stuff by the
Hulkster. I forgot. We don't speak that around here.
That don't work for us, brother.
Right.
fuck Hulk Hogan.
Right. Eli actually
put his back, break his back, make him humble.
This past week.
Right.
He's doing all the Rock shit now just to piss off.
And Ricky's doing the same thing because he's turning heel. And y'all saw that pyro celebration. Y'all seen him up on the rope. Was like.
Yep.
I loved it. I was like, I got it.
Right in the ring and say, y'all making comparisons and be like,
exactly. And he's killing it too.
He's lately been trying to renege that. He's actually apologized on his podcast about that. But it's too little too late.
Who's that?
Nash.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he took it back.
Right.
No takesies, backsies.
I love how you're talking about Nash, but you're doing Hellcat.
Oh God, yes! I thought I recognized that fucking thing.
Yeah, gotta get those fucking sneakers. Gotta find those fucking great white buffaloes.
We love you.
I guess I could tell this story now because it's been a while.
Go for it.
So I was trained indirectly by Hellcat. I was part of the kayfabe dojo, and that's how I was brought up. My trainer was Mark House,
Right.
Legendary.
House?
Yes, legendary wrestler Colin Delaney. Great guys.
Oh yeah.
Rochester.
Brought me up. But Hellcat was the one who owned the gym. He obviously owns UPW, KDW.
Hey, gotta keep that fucking rent.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
You paying that fucking rent.
But he was one of the guys that would also, and this is kind of exposing the business here, so forgive me. And if you want to cut this out, go ahead. But he was one of the guys that would rent out his license all the time.
Yeah.
Because in upstate in New York in general, you have to have a promoter's license. You have to have a bunch of other shit like ambulance and a doctor on site and all that shit. So it's expensive to run a show if you are on your own, right?
Yep.
So he would rent out his ring, his license, and would be at shows. So there was this promotion called Wild Zero.
Yep.
Okay.
That's when I first worked with you.
Yeah. So Chris and I go way back. We trained together and stuff. And I told him, if you ever ran a show, I'm there. I'll do your production as much as I can. I'll help you as whatever I can do. And one of the last show I ever worked for him was the main event was Simon Gotch versus Jay Freddy.
Oh my God.
And I was working production in the back. And within like a minute or two in the match, Jay takes a awkward bump and lands right on his neck.
Really bad.
Really bad. It was Stinger. Cody peeks in, goes, fuck. Yep. So I run back and say, we need EMT out there. While this was happening, Simon Gotch was on the mic trying to stall, waiting for EMT, going, just working the crowd, because Simon Gotch, fucking professional, by the way.
And that's why I respect Simon Gotch so much.
Yeah, if you want a guy to book in terms of not just a good wrestler, but a good trainer as well, fucking Simon Gotch.
That's what's from the picture. That's from
so I go in the back, like, dude, we need EMT out, Jay's hurt. And while this is happening, Hellcat hears this and comes back into the library. Oh, you fucking Mark, you piece of shit! And throws a water bottle at me. He's a fucking work, you fucking piece of shit! What the fuck you talking about? Well, he's still in the ring. It's nearly 5 minutes later. Yep. No EMT has gone out there. Finally, Cody comes to the back and says, "Where the fuck is EMT? Jay's hurt." I'm like, I told everyone here, no one's doing anything. I don't know what to talk about. They finally get it was just a stinger. He was fine after the fact. But it was just this moment of, you fucking piece of shit. And this was the last time I dealt with Hellcat.
And that's the last time I went to Wild Zero.
Yeah, and I love everybody there, but Hellcat and I never got along. And we've made amends since then, many years later and stuff like that. But at the time, he and I were always up against each other because he didn't like the fact that I was an older guy breaking into the business and I wanted to be a manager, not necessarily a wrestler. Even though I could bump, I could do all this stuff, I wanted to manage people because I thought it was the best way for me to help other guys up.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's that old school mindset of, fuck you, I'm still holding my spot even though it's my company type of thing. And it just pissed me off all the time. But I don't know where I was going with all this, but I think the whole thing
you just trailed off.
Yeah.
He even said Hellcat. That was triggering.
Yep. Right.
You said Hellcat and it triggered me. Yeah. But yeah, so the point out of all this is that there's a lot of guys out there that have really old school mindsets of the business and don't see it when it evolves. Because that's all they knew. Because when they grew up, they were told by the vets that this is how it was. And their vets told them that's how it was. So when you're seeing guys like the Bucks, Omega, and all these indie guys that really came up in a fuck you, we're doing it our way mindset.
Changing the business on top of
changing the business.
Yeah. Well, they are changing the business in the way that a locker room isn't as pissy as it once was.
Right.
You know, the Orton shitting in bags bit always gets me, but there's a lot of stuff
that's funny to me. I'm sorry, that's not always funny to me.
But what you're saying, Sleazy, is exactly why I respect two people a lot as I do: Mike Champion and JC Money. Because they're older guys. They had that older mindset, but they see that the business is changing and they're open to it, and I love that. I'm gonna say that right now.
John, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this. John and I go back quite a few years. We were on the Gear Network for nearly 4 years.
Very cool.
But yeah, John's a great mind of the business.
Oh yeah.
You know, just fucking beautiful. And the reality is that if it's adapt or perish, you know.
Yep.
It really
You're
is.
with us or you're against us.
Yep.
I forgot who delivered it that way too. I forgot.
Bischoff.
Oh yeah, that was Bischoff. That's exactly what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah, because I was thinking Nexus for some reason. But yeah, that's exactly it. And again, that's the older person. That's the older personality mindset and things like that. Like, I think it was Undertaker that said
They're soft.
They're soft now.
They play
video games in the back instead of what?
Instead of doing
coke or what?
They're trying to extend their lives. They're trying to extend their lifespan.
Right.
They want to go over there and smoke and drink.
And that's why I started hating WWE even more as well, because they used to reprimand people for doing this shit, and they reprimanded Miro for they were in the storyline or whatever, and Lana and him announced the engagement. They reprimanded him for it. Like, seriously.
Because Vince was truly trying to get Dolph to take his woman, for real. Like Hunter and fucking stuff.
No, he shouldn't be with that. She shouldn't be with that man. He probably orchestrated that.
He did.
The China Stephanie. Oh man.
I mean, Kevin Sullivan booked his own divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did with Chris Benoit fucking dancing.
Oh god.
And we gotta keep it kayfabe. You take her out. You do this. You do that.
Right.
They're fucking
right. Easily. There's no.
Yes. She's leaving you, dude.
Right. What's going on here?
She's leaving, bro. What papers?
This is kayfabe, right? No, this is real.
Yeah, it's that Star Wars meme. This is kayfabe, right?
Right.
Right.
It's like, I see it.
And to be fair, here's one of the other things about wrestling that's so strange to me, or at least for my aspect, is that you're sitting there at, being a huge fan of somebody. I'm a huge fan of Undertaker. I live and breathe The Undertaker, okay? That was my favorite wrestler growing up, my favorite wrestler as an adult, period. Mark Calloway, the human being, is a piece of shit.
There you go. That's see, I can't separate. Like,
Glenn Jacobs, huge piece of shit.
God, I can't.
My favorite character is Corporate Kane, okay? Yeah. It is the precipice of an amazing storyline if you look at it from the perspective of him. He grew up fucked up. His older brother was in professional wrestling, but he made it there too. He clawed his way up there, and he made his way, and he made some money, and he got corporate because he finally made a mark on the business. And now he's a corporation guy. He was an executive. He did his bit.
Right.
If you look at it from that perspective, it's an amazing storyline. But people go, Corporate Kane, what the fuck is that?
Corporate Kane is actually more of who he really is if you think about it.
Oh, it is. It is. It's him turned up to 11. The old Jim Cornette.
Going nowhere. That I was shit.
Yep.
I made a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's why I respect Austin so much.
I had fucking 5 moves.
What we were talking about, he'll tell you that he was shit. He plays video games. He plays one of my favorite video games of all time.
He's a Zelda head.
So he's a Zelda head, of course. And there's proof of this, and it's everywhere. And that's why I can respect Rock, and I can respect Stone Cold for stuff like that. They're not the old they're old heads, but they're not the older heads like the Nash and the Bischoff and all that stuff, like shitting on the business.
Like he said when Owens started using the stunner.
Yep.
First, he didn't ask permission, but he finally did. He's like, finally, somebody fucking came and asked me something.
Exactly, right.
Put it back out there. Hell yeah, do it.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, and that's why he's using it now. So, I mean, and then Cena didn't ask permission either. He did the springboard. So he's like, nah, cut that shit out. Yeah, exactly.
No.
He got no permission.
Yeah, because that was just stupid. But I hope Cena doesn't become like that either. So, because they are about to be the old heads: Cena, Orton, Batista, Brock. Shelton Benjamin, all of them.
Cena's more Hollywood anyway now.
But they're still going to be the old heads now. So, like,
but at least he had decency to apologize to the Rock.
Yeah, it's like, I see now what you're doing and stuff like that, and how
you left this
it's challenging.
But then you go Hollywood and corporate,
and you left
and then
again.
Cena took the same.
He took the same.
Rock. Yeah,
I'm sorry, Rock. This is fun.
I like this. Hey, you used to come at WrestleMania. Nah.
What's a work? What's a shoot?
And now Seth Rollins about to do it.
I want to ask Kenny. You said in our discussion we had about Cornette that the Bucks put some CM Punk shit with him, and that's what I wasn't there for the beginning of this. I came into this when they were already like past heated with the Bucks and kid. Like, what the hell happened? Like, I always knew that Cornette like hated Shawn Michaels and shit. Shawn Michaels was always my favorite wrestler of all time.
He likes him now.
He like Michael. He like Shawn now.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's when that immediately kind of turned me off of Cornette. Like, you shitting on my guy. Like,
right. Exactly. And again, that goes back to all the attacks and stuff like that. The sides versus the side. No. You say something bad about somebody's side, they're gonna defend it.
Now, what really happened with Kenny in the Bucks? Like, what?
Well, apparently they used to all work. What was it? I think some of Impact and some of Ring of Honor together. He was on the booking.
For those who don't know what we're talking about,
it's both companies.
It's between. So we're talking about Cornette and the Bucks, correct? Yes.
So, well, I know with them being young, they kind of came in with somewhat of an ego. According to Cornette, they came with somewhat of an ego. And they had a couple matches which he thought were kind of like shit. So he wasn't really booking them as strong as they felt they should be booked. So they were going behind his back, not directly to him. They were just going around complaining about this shit.
Okay.
And they got back to him, and they got into a confrontation about the shit. So not long after that confrontation, those guys left and went elsewhere. And they just had that heated discussion back and forth the entire time.
And they've been beefing ever since.
Just ever since then, I just set it off.
To AEW, the shit came back out of resurfaced like, oh, well, you know, back at a convention or whatever, before AEW got big, and like, oh, Cornette came up to us and was like, oh, hope to one day work an angle with you guys, you know, no matter where it is. So when that got back to Cornette, Jim was like, I never said none of that shit. Like, I don't even fucking like these guys. So for them to even make us some shit like that, he like, fuck them. Like, I'm done.
That's a charge.
He was like Tommy Lee Jones
I told them they were
U.S. Marshals.
I
don't even like you, man.
And I can believe that because, like,
because that's the shit that came with the Punk situation.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about Cornette.
Cabana has to go to Ring of Honor or not be on TV because apparently Punk was like, if Cabana's there, I'm not coming in.
And he never said that.
He said nothing like that, but that came out of their mouth.
Right.
And that's why they got into that whole scuffle.
Okay, so here's the thing about Cornette. And I fuck Cornette, but I love him. I respect him, okay? I will say that.
But his facts are not always right either. And he will at times say, I'm not always right.
Well, here's the thing about
all the time, at times.
Here's a warning, guys.
I love Cornette, but when he was booking for Ring of Honor, he was kind of weird. But here's the deal: if you piss off Cornette once, you've made an enemy for life.
Right. He holds a grudge.
Huge grudge. You know who's the biggest recipient of that grudge holding? Kevin Steen.
Yeah.
Because.
No,
Cornette didn't want.
He don't hate him. He don't hate this guy.
Fuck that. Even Steen and Remy both say that he hated them because of all the shit that happened in Ring of Honor. Because he didn't want Cornette didn't want Generico under a mask. He didn't want Steen wearing a shirt.
Right.
Well, cut to maybe 10 years later, main event of fucking WrestleMania. Generico and Steen in the main event, winning the tag titles, and Steen's still in a fucking shirt.
Right.
It didn't matter. at the end of the day. And the thing is that Cornette, once again, old fucking school guy. If it's not his way, it's not the right way, because he was taught by the guys ahead of him, who was taught by the guys ahead of him, who was taught by the guys ahead of him. This is the same asshole that kept a fucking handcuff key around his neck for the majority of the 70s and 80s because he couldn't even trust the boys he was working with.
But he offered up his wife.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it. I had to say
Perfect timing right there.
And I was like, just bang, just get in there.
Get it right in there. Well, just like every other wrestler in the 70s and 80s.
So it's just really my seeing what these people on Twitter are doing.
Yes.
That drives me. I don't care if you don't like a match. I don't never care about that. Don't like a match. Ain't gonna like a wrestler. I don't care about none of that crap. The way I see people attacking people online, and I just know that comes from the comfortability because Cornette does it. And at the same time, y'all are not Cornette. Y'all not a legend in this business. Shut the hell up.
That's why they say cult of Cornette.
And everybody, Cornette, look at tagging Cornette. If you say some shitty shit and tag Cornette, like you want his approval, and Cornette like takes that in, like I hate that portion of it. That's why it's always fuck Cornette.
Exactly.
Like, and that's what it is.
Guys, I think I said it directly to Bucky. I sent you guys a screen grab just now from one of the more recent videos from Asuka has her own YouTube channel. Obviously, fucking huge Asuka fan. But she says in the video,
there are wrestling fans who give me wrestling advice, but I do not accept their advice. That's good.
There are so many fucking and to be fair, a lot of us are in the wrestling business. Some of us are just fans of the wrestling business. But everyone has a fucking opinion, like everyone has a fucking asshole.
That's why there's podcasts everywhere.
Fuck these guys. But there's so many people that have a better idea of the professional wrestling business because it's been protected for so long. But in the same breath, every single fan will tell you 15 different opinions about how WWE or AEW should change.
And it gets all homogenized and broken down, and you lose the whole cachet of it. We're going with Jerk Store. Alright? Just saying. It's true. But it fucking sucks. But we got to get up out of here, guys.
On the other side of that coin, too, real quick.
Go for it.
How is people like Mark Henry supposed to feel like when you go to somebody like a Heyman and say, hey, be more aware of your surroundings, don't do this, don't do, or try not to do this, try not to do that, not strictly telling him don't do it, and then you just say, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, fuck off, I don't need your advice. How are they supposed to feel with the new generation? That's why this shit keep going too.
Leo Rush.
Oh, come.
Fuck Leo Rush. Fuck that guy. Fuck that asshole.
Apologize. You're fired. What?
The whole carrying bag situation and stuff too. It's like, what? Because I'm black? Like, no, stop.
No,
you need to pay your dues. You're rookie. Right.
So,
how do you come to Tony's company and tell their boss to apologize for some bullshit? Then he fire you.
Okay, you're out of here.
Nah, you got a 5 month deal. He had a 5 month deal.
You're right.
Ain't no damn 5 months. I signed a 5 month contract. That don't even make sense.
5 month contract.
Out of there.
Why?
Hey,
how do I get out here?
I will tell.
Cut to you outside.
I'll tell this very quickly story about Leo Rush because this will show how much of a hypocrite I am. Because I just spent 10 minutes burying Jim Cornette, but holding grudges, and I probably hold one myself against Leo Rush. But there was an Excite show that I worked with Leo Rush, and Leo was a special unannounced guest. Okay, we brought him in to work with Slick Wagner Brown. And he had
WB.
So the ring broke. This was the night that Cody was booked for Excite. The ring broke.
The ring broke, and he paid for. Yeah, that's cool.
So what happened was Leo was supposed to go on just before intermission as a special guest, and then he was going to go out and do merch and whatever. Well, we couldn't do that because a ring broke. We had to take intermission at that moment. Leo Rush spent 15 minutes bitching about the fact that we had to just announce him that he was here so he could go out and play merch. And he just bitched about it constantly. Oh, fuck this old place. I was a fucking main event guy, and I'm not here, and go fuck this shit, and this is a terrible company, and how dare you fucking bring me in, and blah, 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 blah. All in front of Cody Rhodes, in front of AR Fox, all these fucking big-time guys.
Kick his ass.
Right?
Yeah.
But he's Slick Wagner Brown sitting there going, shut the fuck up, dude. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate situation, but yeah, shit happens.
Leo, shut up.
He pulled me aside because he knew that I had Moose's ear at the time, which isn't really true, but he thought he did. So you tell that motherfucker that next time this happens, I'm going to be main eventing and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
And then we never saw him again.
Right.
And you never came again.
He was this big.
Yeah, the common denominator is him then.
Yeah.
And all these crazy
It's always been him. It's always
Just
been
like,
him.
and I'm not going to get on that topic, but...
He get hurt. I'm retiring.
Was it
I'm healed up. I'm going back to wrestling.
No,
nothing's going my way.
quitting again.
I'm retiring.
Was it Ivelisse? No.
Evilise.
Yeah.
Tessa.
Tessa. Yeah, we got that.
We've been down that road.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But still, we got to get up out of here, guys. So we are past the limit. Mike, I want to thank Sleazy. I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, man. Seriously.
Thank you for having me on. I'm always, glad to be on.
Please
come
do.
back.
It won't be a matter if, it'll be a matter of when.
And if you're ever in the Rochester area, we're right down the street from Ground Zero. So, come on in. And Shannon would like to thank you for taking the time to come out.
Absolutely. I'm getting called and messaged right now.
Absolutely. And I saw you checking. That's why we got to get up out of here. I understand that. I understand the misses thing. So, yeah, absolutely. So, for Titanic Shannon, for Chico Libre, for Solid Rose Champion Kenny Cornette, and the real Predictions Champion Bucky 4G. We'll see y'all later.
That's why I take both of them.
Peace.